right, welcome to another episode of Piecing It Together, the podcast where we take a look at a new movie and try to figure out what movies inspired it. And today on the show, we are talking about Nightbitch, a movie I have been looking forward to all year long. I think I had it at my number one slot for most anticipated movies, and it was pretty fun. It wasn't as great as I was hoping for, but it was still a worthwhile effort from Amy Adams, and still got into some strange places, which I wanted stranger, but it's fine. But we have a fun conversation coming up. Joining me to talk about it is filmmaker Katherine Jackson. We'll also be talking about her new short film, Attachment Theory, which is right now out in the festival circuit, and you'll be able to see that at some point soon. But we've got a great conversation coming up. Lots of great puzzle pieces to get into for Nightbitch. Before we get to it, I do want to remind you, as always, to make sure you are subscribed to Piecing It Together on your podcast app of choice. Wherever you're listening right now, just hit that follow or subscribe, or it might be like a plus button, whatever it is, just hit the button, and that way you'll get all the new episodes as they come out. You can also follow us on social media at Piecing Pod. And one more thing that I wanted to mention before we get to today's episode is if you're listening to this on December 6th, the day that the episode comes out, which is also the day that Nightbitch comes out, I have a new album from the Pup Pups, my comedy novelty group of songs about, and in some cases sung by, my pets. The Pup Pups' third album, it's called A Boy and His Dog and Three Cats and a Bear, and it is out today. It is available on vinyl exclusively from Bandcamp, and tonight, again, if you're listening to this the day it comes out, tonight, December 6th, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, we will be having a listening party over on Bandcamp. So I want to invite you to come join us over there. And it just so happens to be Bandcamp Friday. I swear I did not plan it that way. I had picked December 6th because December 7th is Harvey's birthday, his 17th birthday. And, it was the closest Friday. You want to release music on Fridays. And then it turned out to be a Bandcamp Friday, which Bandcamp Friday, they do not take any cut of the sales. So if you hear, some songs and you're like, oh, this is fun, I want to get a copy of this, today is the best possible way to do it, especially that vinyl, because they will not take any cut of it. So check it out, thepuppups.bandcamp.com. Hope to see you there at the listening party tonight, 7 p.m. And with that said, let's get to our conversation about Nightbitch. All right, it's time to talk about Nightbitch, a movie that I've been looking forward to for a while now. Katherine Jackson is joining us. How's it going, Katie?
Hi, it's going good. How are you?
I am doing great. I am in that end of the year rush, just so many movies to watch, so many movies to cover. But like I said, this is one that I had just been looking forward to for quite a while. So I'm excited to finally get around to talking about it. Before we get to it, though, it is your first time on the show. Tell my listeners a little about you and what you do.
Oh, well, I have just written and directed my short film. I'm an aspiring filmmaker based out of New Zealand. And yeah, I've just written and directed a short film called Attachment Theory. And I
Absolutely.
hope to make other projects very soon as well.
Right on. And yeah, we'll talk about Attachment Theory a little bit more later after we get through Nightbitch.
Yes.
I do have to ask you before we start getting into the thing, are you a dog person?
Oh, yeah. Massive. Yeah. Are you?
Okay. Oh, totally. My old guy is sleeping in the back here. I actually have a new album of songs about him coming out. That's
my
how much
gosh.
of a dog person
And
that I
what
am.
type of dog do you have?
He's a mix of all kinds of things. He's Chihuahua, Pug, Terrier. All
I have
kinds
a
of
pug.
things.
I have
Really?
a pug. Yes.
They're the best.
Yes.
They're the
Yes.
best.
They're the
Yeah.
best. Yes. Yeah. I'm
So
a huge dog
cute.
person. Yeah.
So cute.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why, I mean, who doesn't love Amy Adams? Who doesn't love everything Marielle Heller's done so far? But I
Yeah.
mean, really, as a dog person, that's why I was so excited for this movie. So, I'm excited to get into it. Before we start getting into puzzle pieces, though, what was your relation with this movie? Had you been excited for it? Have you read the book or anything like that, or were you just hey, let's talk about this one?
So I had heard about it and knew it was being made, but I haven't read the book.
Mm-hmm.
After seeing the film, I would love to read the book.
Yeah.
It's made me more curious about it because apparently they're quite different, is what I've heard. Yeah. Have you read the book?
I have not, but I've heard that it goes a little bit further, which
Yes.
is what I really, I don't want to get into the negatives right away, but like I really wish this movie would have gone further. I mean, it's such an on paper ridiculous premise. It could have gone in so many crazy directions, and it doesn't quite go there.
I
But yeah,
completely agree with you. I had the exact same thought. Yes, which is
yeah,
why I'm very curious as to what the book is like and how much it does go there, because apparently it is a lot darker, I think.
yeah,
And has other storylines as well, which I couldn't imagine because this film is so personal to the protagonist and to
hmm,
Amy Adams's character. So I couldn't imagine how they, interweave other storylines into the book. But
sure,
yeah. Yeah, I was excited for this movie because I think it's quite an outrageous concept in an exciting way. I
hmm,
like bold stories and
yeah.
choices, and the idea of Amy Adams believing that she's slowly turning into a dog. I was very excited to see
Yeah.
how they would do this story.
So, as soon as I heard that log line, I was like, "Yep, in
Yeah, yeah,
100%
same. And the
in."
title too. What a great title.
Oh yeah, absolutely, for sure.
Yeah.
So let's start getting into the puzzle pieces. I will let you go first. What do you have for your first puzzle piece for Nightbitch?
Well, I had to go with the biggest film of someone transforming into a dog, which is An American Werewolf in London,
Mm-hmm.
which is a very important film to me. I watched that far too young. I think I was about 7 years old when I first watched that movie, but I adore
Mm-hmm.
it. And I do think that, like, that's the ultimate person turning into a dog
Yeah.
transformation film. Yeah.
Absolutely. It's
Yeah.
such a good one in that kind of genre. And, at the time that we're recording this weekend, it's a crazy weekend for movies. We're also getting a great looking indie called Werewolves that is like a straight up like throwback werewolf movie. And then in January, we're getting the new Lee Whannell Wolfman
Wolfman.
movie.
I'm so
Yeah,
excited for Wolfman. He's a great
absolutely.
director.
He
Yeah.
really is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I wanna see
So
what they do with that.
yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how much they kind of like go into like classic werewolf movie lore and like the ideas and like just kind of the action of those movies and how much they kind of do their own thing and carve out their own path. But
Yeah.
yeah, An American Werewolf in London is definitely a great one to kick it off with. And I'm just going to jump right on top there and get my
Yes.
werewolf movie out of the
Yes.
way. I'm going to go with Teen Wolf,
Yes.
the other end of the spectrum, but also the idea of mixing, creatures and the suburban domestic life and like,
Yes.
going through that everyday life and everything
Yes.
that goes with it and the stresses of it, but with the added stress of turning into a werewolf. So
Yes.
I think you get a little bit of both of those things.
Yes.
Again, just not to harp back to our criticisms. I wish that Amy Adams's transformation here was like practical, grotesque,
Me
weird.
too.
You
Me
know what I
too,
mean?
because An American Werewolf in London had no special effects. They had to do it all practically, and
Yeah.
Rick Baker did a phenomenal job with
Hmm.
that David transformation, and yeah, that scene is so horrific and
Yeah.
amazing at the same time. And I wish
Absolutely.
that, yeah, I wish it probably was a budget thing with Nightbitch because I'm sure that that's
Sure.
not cheap if you're doing special effects or practical to do all the prosthetics or CG. But yes, I wish that there was more of a transformation in the
Yeah.
scenes where she was transforming into a dog.
And I do like though that when she does transform into a dog, I mean, just to jump around this movie all over the
Yes.
place here, but I do like that she's literally a dog when she
It's
transforms. It's not like a creature or something,
No, it's not a werewolf, right? It's
Yeah.
not actually something that's horrific or terrifying in the
Yeah.
end. It's something that's actually quite cute
Yeah.
and
Absolutely.
friendly.
Yeah. Love that.
Yeah.
Let's go to another movie. What do you got for your next one?
On the topic of metamorphosis, The Fly,
Mm,
there's a little bit of body horror in Night
sure.
Bitch. I personally wish there was a bit more, but that's me. And
Yeah.
so on the story of someone transforming into this other thing and losing their self, The Fly has to be top of the list for me. Yeah.
Sure.
Cronenberg's
Absolutely.
The Fly. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're seeing a lot of Cronenberg lately. I mean, obviously The Substance this
Oh
year,
my
and
God.
yeah, there's so much influence from everything that he's done. But The Fly, I think, as far as transformations, this is definitely a good one. And yeah, some of those sequences, we're talking about how it doesn't go into a lot of metamorphosis, but there is
Yeah.
some gross stuff going on, and
Oh,
so
there's some disgusting stuff. Oh,
yeah,
yeah. Yeah, there are
so
some scenes that I found it a little hard to watch. Yeah.
yeah,
And
so
it's
that
still
is
I
great.
thought that they could have pushed it further too
Mhm.
with the horror aspect, but I think it was definitely a choice that they didn't. That was a choice that they, because something I was struck by with the film is Amy Adams's character isn't too horrified at what's going on. She's
Sure.
very accepting of her transformation
Yeah.
in a way that these other films, your characters are fighting the transformation and are pretty horrified by what's happening to them. And she's very much embracing it, which is an
Totally.
interesting choice. Yeah.
I actually wrote down, like, when she first starts to think that this is what's happening, she's at the grocery store and she's like, "Dogs wouldn't buy vegetables." And I
Yeah.
thought that was a
Yeah.
really good line.
Yeah, it is. It is. Exactly.
Very
Exactly. And yeah,
ridiculous.
she's not fighting what's happening to her,
Yeah.
which is so interesting because if you think of like another Metamorphosis movie, District 9, where the whole
Mm,
plot of that is how do I stop this transformation? How do
yeah.
I stop myself from becoming this other thing? And that's the whole basis of the film. And her transformation is the basis of this film, but she's not fighting it.
Sure.
Yeah, which is
Yeah.
really interesting.
It is, absolutely. I will jump over to Willard. You could either go the 1971 original or the 2003 remake with Crispin Glover. But as far as this guy who becomes a leader of all these rats who follow him around, and
Yes.
here with Amy Adams, like she keeps, coming to that front door, and all these dogs, they just seem to want her to come be a part
Yes.
of the pack. And it's a really fun thing, and of course for us dog lovers to get all the dogs in there is always great. But the rats are also kind of cute in their own disgusting way in Willard, and so
Yes.
just seeing this oddball with all these little furry things running around is very fun.
Absolutely. I couldn't imagine what it was like to make this movie because they say don't work with kids or dogs.
Yeah,
And that's entirely what this whole film is about,
yeah,
So they get a lot of dogs in this movie as well. It's
they
not
sure
just
do.
one or two. They have a
Yeah,
whole pack.
yeah, they
Yeah.
deliver. They
They
deliver
really
on
do.
that.
It's good dog acting. I always appreciate good animal acting, and they've got great dog acting and good child acting too.
Yeah. I did
Yeah.
a guest appearance on another podcast once about top 5 best dog actors, and I went with the dog from The Thing as my number one. That is
Oh,
like the
that's
best
good.
performance. It's
Oh,
incredible.
that's good. That's
Yeah,
really good.
yeah.
I'm trying to think. What else did they mention?
Well, I remember I brought up the dog from Independence Day who jumps past the fire. Incredible
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Trying to remember what other ones there was. Oh, the dog in Half Baked that gets
Yes.
stoned, killer.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. Yes.
yeah.
There's
There's so
something
many good
about
ones.
Mary. That's pretty
Yeah,
a good
that's a
dog
good
in that
one.
one. Yeah, that's a good one.
There you
Yeah.
go. I like
Yeah.
it. I like
Yeah.
it.
Good dog acting.
Yes, definitely. Let's go to another piece. What do you got next?
The other one I have is very much in the tone of what I was hoping Nightbitch would go lean into more, but is the Babadook.
Mm,
Because that is a mother struggling with her
sure.
child and feeling absolutely isolated, and, it's very much on, the opposite end of the spectrum than Night Bitch, but yeah, very because it's very much a horror film, but
Yeah,
I did see similarities between the 2 of the horror of motherhood,
sure.
which a lot of
Absolutely.
people don't talk about, but I think a lot of people feel.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that that's another one that comes up a lot lately. It feels like that is such an influential movie of like the last 10 years or whatever. But yeah, it's definitely getting into all those things that people don't really like to talk about
No,
too much, and I
no.
think people get so much guilt around that. But it's obviously something that so many people deal with. So it's a great subject matter for a movie. Um, I will, go from there, like a little bit closer to the tone of Night Bitch and getting into that struggle of motherhood. I'm going to go with Tully for my next one.
Yes, I had
Y-
that written down as well.
You had that one
Yes,
too?
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a
absolutely.
it's a great movie. I remember it got very mixed reviews when it came out. I always thought it was
Mhm.
really good, but Charlize Theron being the struggling mother, and then
Yes.
Mackenzie Davis is kind of gifted to her as this nanny. And then, for
Yes.
anyone who hasn't seen it, I won't reveal what's going on there, but
It's a good
you know,
ending.
yeah, suffice to say, it's like it gets surreal. It's kind of this imaginary, kind of surreal, dreamlike version of a struggling mother getting the help that she needs within the
Yeah.
relationship, within that
Yeah.
motherhood. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's a good movie.
Yeah, yeah, and very similar to Night Bitch and that it's about the isolation of motherhood
Hmm.
and the shame that you feel when you struggle with it, which I think
Yeah,
is very, very common but not spoken about, and as you said, guilt as well.
Yeah.
I think because and also the loss of identity when you just become a mother, a stay-at-home mum, and that's what Nightbitch covers a bit because Amy Adams's character was an artist and then becomes a stay-at-home mum and very much struggles with that lack of identity and just being labeled as a mother and not losing that community and being subjected to hanging out with other mums and other two-year-olds and going to music classes and listening to the same songs over and over
Sure.
again, and how that would drive anyone crazy. And, you are comparing yourself to others, and you're seeing other parents not struggle with it, and seemingly, it's the best time of their lives, and so if it's anything less than that for yourself, yeah, you do think something's broken with you or
Yeah.
wrong, and there's so much shame and guilt associated with that. And it also seems like something that, a lot of people are unable to speak about
Sure. Yeah,
because
absolutely.
yeah.
That moment when she says, like, to her husband that she realized that she's not an artist anymore, like,
Yeah.
that's a rough scene.
That is a rough scene and very real. And I thought that this movie was really brave for tackling that subject too.
Sure.
Because, it's a cliche, but when anyone has a kid, I think that they're just told it's gonna be the most transformative, incredible, life-changing thing that's ever happened to them and the happiest times of their lives, and it definitely is transformative, but I think that there can sometimes be negative with brought along with that transformation, and it's not that
Sure.
it's permanent, but I do think that there's a loss of self and a loss of your old life, you know,
Yeah,
pre-parenthood. Yeah,
absolutely. That's
yeah.
its own metamorphosis, right? Isn't that
Yeah,
that's the theme
absolutely.
here?
You're losing yourself and you're becoming something else, and what is that?
Yeah.
And there's a horror to that for sure,
Yeah.
but you're meant to pretend like it's the greatest thing to ever happen to you, and I think on one level it really is, but I also think that it can be incredibly difficult.
Totally,
Yeah.
totally. Well, let's go to another piece. What do you got next?
Well, I it's very different to Night Bitch, but just I had to put in Parenthood because
Sure.
I just love that movie so much, and that is
Yeah.
also parents struggling.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, and struggling with being a parent, and but obviously a very opposite end of the spectrum with the how comedic it is. But
Yeah.
I had to mention that because I love that movie.
It's funny because, like, when I first heard the log line for this, like, I was thinking, real genre movie, like, it's gonna get, like, down and dirty and weird
Yeah,
and everything, and then
same.
the trailer came out, and I was like, "Oh my god, is this, like, Parenthood? Like, what is
Yes,
this?" Because it's a very silly, goofy trailer, and it
yes.
actually ended up, like, right in the middle, kind of, in between those 2
It did,
tones,
didn't
so,
it? If there's a
yeah.
spectrum. I mean, it's been, yeah, described as a drama, and I think that is what it is because I wouldn't categorize it as a horror or
Mhm.
a thriller. I
Yeah.
do think it's like a psychological drama, which
Right.
I didn't anticipate it being.
Yeah.
I thought it would lean more into horror, but yeah, I love Parenthood a lot, just the
Yeah.
hardships of and feeling trapped too in that
Mhm.
role.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's definitely a fun one to include on this list. Lots of dark stuff, and then we get Parenthood in there, so
It's
yeah,
very
for sure.
true, and I think it's comedy and horror are so similar. They're my 2 favorite genres, and I do
Yeah.
think that, because I think for both of those genres to be good, they have to resonate in a truth and often in a fear,
Mhm.
and you can either play that fear out comedically or in a horror type way, and, yeah, Parenthood does it well, and Babadook is the, opposite end of that spectrum,
Sure,
struggling with
sure.
being a parent. Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, I will go, I'm gonna bring another comedy into the mix here, and, this is just a small one, but I was thinking of Mean Girls, specifically because in the cafeteria scenes where they're just kind of imagining themselves becoming animals, and here it takes it that
Yeah.
next step of the way, and they actually are becoming animals, and, eh, do you think I mean, it's kind of hinted at, but it's not really revealed, maybe it's in the book, but are the other dogs the other moms, do you
That's
think?
what I was wondering. I
Yeah.
was wondering if that was, like, symbolic of them. Yes, because what I like in Night Bitch is that you get introduced to these other mothers who you feel quite isolated from with Amy
Mhm.
Adams, like, looking upon them, and then as the story unfolds, you learn that they are actually feeling the exact same way as her,
Yeah.
as a dog starts to find her pack in the
Yeah.
night. So, yes, I did wonder if they were, the other dogs. And Mean Girls is a great reference because
Right
you've
on.
also got the internal monologue in
Yeah,
Mean Girls that also plays out in Nightbitch, where
that's true.
you're hearing the voice of the main character speak to you and what they're feeling and thinking. And also, in Mean Girls, you have these scenes that play out that then they do that hard cut and you realize that was just what the character was hoping for and not actually what they
Sure.
were thinking. Yeah, you get and you're really inside their head. Yeah.
Yeah. Right on.
Yeah,
Right
yeah.
on.
Did you think the other mothers were
I
in the
was
pack?
kind of I was kind of leaning towards that. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so. And like it's not really explored, but like we were saying, maybe it's in the book or something. But I think it's just one of those good open-ended questions because I lean towards yes though.
Yes, I
Yeah.
think so too, because I think she happens to be finding her pack
Yeah,
along with befriending them. So, yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Well, let's go to another one. What do you got next?
I also wrote down Black Swan
Okay.
as another one of someone transitioning into this other, but similar to Amy Adams's character in Black Swan, Natalie Portman doesn't fight her transformation.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of similar scenes with looking in the mirror and developing a rash, and then as the film goes on, that rash grows, and then eventually she starts to have feathers that come out of her skin, and it's that body horror, very similar to the tail
Yeah.
scene in Night Bitch, and looking in the mirror and seeing this thing grow out of your body, but not, neither one of them run to the doctor.
Yeah.
You know,
Sure. Yeah.
they're both very accepting and at peace in a way with their transformation, and at the end complete their transformation too, which is
Yeah.
very much psychological, that as the viewer you don't even know if that is an honest transformation, if that really did happen, because you're
Yeah.
so in someone's mental state.
No, totally. And that mental state and all of the anxiety that, she's feeling, it's all kind of coming out within the action of this movie and
Yeah.
everything that she's going through. And like it's internalized and externalized at the same time, which, you could kind of only do in a genre type movie like
It's
this.
so true. It's so true. Yeah. Yeah. Which I love. I love any sort of psychological films for that reason. I
Sure.
like that you can really have, fun with the narration and the unreliable narrator too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I will go to a movie from a couple years ago, another based on a book, movie about a mother dealing with the pressures of motherhood. It's The Lost Daughter. Um,
Yes. I wrote that one down as well.
Right on, yeah.
Yes.
It's a great movie. Maggie Gyllenhaal's directorial debut, I believe. But yeah, as far as like the weirdness and the surrealness and the idea of taking something that could be like just a straightforward drama and kind of
Mm.
turning it into something a little bit like odder and a little bit weirder, and with the acknowledgement that this is something that both Olivia Colman and Dakota Johnson, both of them, mother characters that are going through these issues and, relating to each other in these different ways, even though they are having their own,
Yeah.
unique perspectives on it.
Yes, absolutely. And also yes, it reminded me of Night Bitch as well because of the flashbacks into what happened in their earlier life. Like Night
Mm,
Bitch hints that, Amy Adams's own mother struggled with the same issue,
hmm. Yeah,
which I liked, and it never explains it, which I also like. It asks a
sure.
lot of questions, it doesn't answer, but I like that because it's up to interpretation. And The Lost Daughter does that as well, where you do get the idea of someone's backstory and what happened and why are they this who they are today? Why are they struggling, mentally? And as you go to flashbacks, you understand why. And yeah, I really liked how Night Bitch did that with exploring Amy Adams's own parent and mother
Yeah,
struggling. Yeah,
absolutely. And yeah, that just kind of leans into everything that she's going through now. So it just like it fits really well into her story.
it does.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I only have one more. Do you have any others that you want to bring up?
Well, I had Tully and I had The
Yeah.
Lost Daughter. Yeah,
So,
yeah.
so you're good.
No, yeah, I'm good.
All right. Well, then I just want to throw in here. It's a little one, but we always put the spoiler warning at the beginning of the show, so no worries about spoilers. But I had to think of A Quiet Place with the ending because I was just throwing
Oh,
my hands up and saying they're having another baby. Like what? Like
Yes,
after all
yes,
this, are you
yes,
serious? Like,
yes,
but so it just kind of gave me that same feeling of like there's these creatures that are killing everybody who makes a noise, and yet they're still gonna make a baby. Like that's
yes.
just madness.
Madness. And that's not in the book apparently, but
Okay.
was very much a decision because apparently I think the question of Nightbitch is the idea of someone becoming a parent and the entire movie going, did I make a mistake?
Hmm.
I love my child, but I am miserable. I have lost myself. Did I make a mistake? And
Yeah.
that scene was added at the very end to answer that question. That you see
Yeah.
all she goes through, and I I know, it definitely is, uh, you go, "Oh, okay, it's you going through that again," but yeah the entire movie poses the question of, did I make a mistake having a
Sure.
child? Did I This is a horrible thing. Do I really regret signing up for it? Only to be answered at the very last scene,
Yeah. I love it, and I want to do it all over again.
which
So.
is insane.
Yeah. So,
Uh,
so I think that's a good place to wrap up the puzzle pieces. Do you have any closing thoughts or anything we didn't quite get to at Night Bitch that you wanted to mention?
No, I mean, I thought Amy Adams was phenomenal. I loved her performance in this.
Mm,
And yes, I personally wish that there was more of a body horror element, transformation horror to this film, and that tonally it was slightly darker. But I also know that it was definitely the director's decision to not go that route and to,
sure.
so I just tonally wish it was darker. But I did enjoy it, and yeah, I thought it was a brave topic to tackle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Only other thing I wanted to mention, excellent use of Weird Al's Dare to Be Stupid.
Yes.
That was not expected
Yes.
whatsoever, but
Yes.
it worked really well.
Yes, it
So,
really did. It really
yeah,
did. There are some very funny moments in the
yeah,
movie. Yeah.
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 Love that. Love that. Well, yeah, I think that's a good place to wrap up Night Bitch. Let's talk about your film Attachment Theory for a little bit here.
Yes.
I got a chance to watch it yesterday, and I really loved it. I thought it was great. Really
Thank
great
you.
sense of just kind of anxiety with technology, with other people, with just kind of everything that this woman's going through. But
Yes.
tell us a little bit about what this movie is and like how it kind of came to be.
Oh, it's so hard to pitch it without giving it away.
Hmm.
I mainly just say to people it's a film about AI and our dependency on AI and what would happen if this thing that we've created to serve us ceases to serve us, and what would happen if it was to become sentient or gain
Hmm.
consciousness. What are the negative ramifications of that? It came to me during the pandemic because everyone was isolated, and I watched a lot of people struggle with their mental health and
Yeah.
get, anxious and depressed and agoraphobic,
Mm.
be too scared to leave the house, and also that we were so dependent on technology. So, like, you didn't
Yeah.
have to leave the house because you could contact your friends over FaceTime, you could get groceries delivered to you, you could get anything delivered to you. You didn't need to talk to anyone again, you didn't need to be face to face with anyone or leave the house ever again, but, you know, we were so dependent on technology to connect us, and in a way, it also drives disconnection for that
Sure.
reason,
Sure.
right? And I found that that was pretty fascinating, and it got you go into a spiral with that too because you don't leave the house, you do lose connection, it only makes your depression worse, and, you feel more disconnected than ever, so that's definitely what inspired the main character in Attachment Theory,
Right on.
um, and I wanted her to be dependent on technology, struggling with those issues, and then just flip it of what would happen then if
Yeah.
someone in that way couldn't be dependent on technology and was forced to reconnect with the world as well.
Yeah. Well, and I like, not to get into spoilers or anything, but like I like that at first, like she's cautious about it, but she's also kind of like, oh, this is kind of cool,
Yes,
and then,
yes.
but then as it gets on, like it's like, oh, okay, yeah, this is a problem. I could see it already.
Yes, exactly. Like, you start to get a little uneasy,
Hmm.
feeling when it becomes a little bit too attached to her.
Totally.
Yeah,
totally.
yeah.
Was the like collaboration with this lead actress? How was that? Because I have to imagine for just one actress, one location, it must be a complex relationship to kind of pull off a movie like this.
Definitely. Yeah, finding, the main actress, Abby Damon is her name, and she's
Hmm.
amazing, and, finding her was a trick because I had to look for someone who could play someone who's very dulled and toned down and checked out,
Hmm.
very disconnected and, kinda disassociating for half the time, to then someone who can bring it to 100 when she has to, and, play that entire a lot of different emotions, and also I wanted the film to have very little dialogue, so I had to have someone who could communicate all of that, with a look,
Sure.
and be sympathetic at the same time. Like, someone who's depressed isn't always sympathetic or who's
Hmm.
addicted to medication, and, I needed to find an actor who would carry that and that you cared about her through the whole film, 'cause, especially when you get to the ending, you have to care about her. If you don't, then I don't think that the story works. So,
Sure.
I found Abby and she was amazing, and she was a dream to work with and so fun, and she would be doing, like, quite heavy, scary scenes and in between takes, just, like, dancing and laughing, and she was able to go in and out of that state as well, which I was so impressed by.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. A movie that her performance kind of reminded me of. I mean, this came
Yes.
out after you were probably already shooting this, but No One Will Save You from last year with Caitlin Dever. Have you
Yes,
seen that?
great film.
It's
Yes,
so
it did
good.
come out. I this is no one will care about this, but we have the exact same establishing shots. No
Oh
one will
yeah.
save you. Oh, yeah. I mean, like, this is something that no one this is not significant to any person, but my film opens with a drone shot over a forest to a house, and then you go into a bathroom, and she's washing her face, and,
Oh
No
sure.
One Will
Yeah, yeah.
Save You does the exact same shots, which I found exciting. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think, yeah, Brian Duffield is awesome.
Yes.
I like him a lot.
Totally.
That was a very cool movie. Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. I guess I should ask you, is there any other like major influences that you had going into this movie?
Oh, yeah, huge,
Yeah.
lots. So, I mean, Terminator being a
Sure.
big obvious one, and
Yeah.
then I love 2001.
Hmm.
I love the idea that you have a friend, this AI friend that then does turn on you, because at
Yeah.
the end of the day, it is AI. It doesn't really feel anything for you or necessarily has loyalty to you. So
Sure.
Hal, was a big
Sure.
inspiration, and Terminator as well. The idea of machine versus human. I loved Spielberg's Duel as a
Mhm.
chase,
Sure.
uh, just one long chase. Because I knew I wanted to do a short film with a chase in it, only because
Yeah.
there's not many short films with chases, and I also thought it would be fun to shoot, and it turned out it was incredibly difficult to shoot. I don't know
Was that
why.
shot there in New Zealand?
Yeah,
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 because it
yeah.
looks amazing, like, the location that you got, and it's like yeah, of course, that's New Zealand.
Yes, of course, it's New Zealand, exactly,
Yeah.
and we had to double it for America, which actually funny, Wolfman shot in the same location here.
Nice.
Yes,
Nice.
which I'm very curious because that's gonna be set in America, and I'm so curious to actually see if that does look like America or New Zealand, but yes, we shot I in one location in New Zealand, which we were very lucky to find, house and forest, but yeah, Jewel was I loved Jules so much, and I loved that that was his first ever film that he did, and it is just one long chase, and chases are quite hard to film. I didn't anticipate that. Just to make look exciting.
I bet, and, like, it's such a huge undertaking for a first film, and to kinda pull off all of the moving parts of something like that, and in what you've done here with this film, to pull off
Yes.
all of these things, I mean, obviously, we should actually talk about the effects a little bit too, because, I mean, that must have been we were talking about dogs and kids are the
Yeah.
hardest things to shoot in Nightbitch,
Yeah.
but, I
Yeah.
imagine drones are kind of a pain too.
Drones are a pain, and I wanted to shoot as practically as I could, so we did build 2 drones because we had to anticipate one of them crashing or something, on
Sure.
the day, so it took me 3 months to design the drone because I wanted the drone to have character, but be believable that this thing was manufactured and that, there were thousands of them in the world, but also it was important for me that the drone had character, so that was hard to perfect, but it took me 3 months to design, and then I hired 2 amazing guys to build it. And we built a drone that flew and, you know, landed and yeah, but that was a mission. Drones definitely, especially when you're chasing with a camera drone. Because there are
Sure.
times.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
gotta both go together. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, and you're chasing a drone with a drone, and, that was also you're, talking over walkie-talkies to both drone pilots at the same time, trying to direct them as to where to go and what to do and time the camera perfectly, and yes,
Right.
it was a big undertaking.
That sure sounds like it. One other question I wanted to ask you about the movie because I just think it's so great. But your tagline, "Shoot the messenger,"
Yes.
fantastic. When did you come up with that?
I can't take credit for that. Julian Hills, who designed the poster, very cleverly came up with that and put that
Mm,
on the poster, and I loved it so much, "Shoot the messenger."
that's great.
It's very clever. Yeah, yeah. That brought me a lot of joy. Yeah, so that was Julian Hills.
Awesome, awesome. Well, with this out in the world and everything that you're doing, are you working on anything else right now?
I'm working on a feature idea at the moment and,
Hmm.
tackling similar topics. I think it's hopefully gonna be a psychological thriller, with technology in it, like,
Cool.
as a base of the story, but, kinda, yeah, sci-fi psychological thriller. So, I'm writing that at the moment.
Awesome. Right
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
Well, this has been great. I do always ask my guests to recommend a movie that they watched recently that they'd like to recommend to our listeners. Do you have anything you watched recently?
I just saw Juror Number 2, which I really
Okay.
enjoyed. Have you seen it?
Not yet. I actually am hoping to catch it in the next day or two before our Critics Society voting starts. So,
Right,
yeah.
yeah, I really liked it. I really liked it, which I had heard positive things about it, but it didn't get a wide release, and I don't
Yeah.
know why, because it should. I thought that, I mean, I'm just amazed at Clint Eastwood. He's 93?
I think that's right.
Yeah, and it's amazing he's still directing, and he did a phenomenal job with Juror Number 2, I thought.
Right on.
Yeah, I really, really enjoyed it.
Very cool. I'm looking forward to it. Well, Katie, this was great. Tell people where they could find you and all your work and everything you're up to.
Oh, you can find me on Instagram at Katie Jackson 65. That's kind of the only social media platform that I'm on, but hopefully, Attachment Theory will be available to for everyone to watch at a close date. I'm just figuring out the right place for it at the moment.
Mhm.
But yeah, we're doing a lot of film festivals and a lot of screenings, and Attachment Theory has its own Instagram page as well. So if anyone's interested in going to any of those screenings, that's where they're all posted.
Right on, right on. Well, Katie, thank you so much for doing the show, and hopefully we'll get you back again sometime.
Thank you. I'd love to come back. Thanks for having me.
All right, so I hope you enjoyed that conversation about Nightbitch. Thank you so much to Katie Jackson for joining me on that one. If you are enjoying piecing it together, make sure you're subscribed. And while you're at it, maybe drop us a 5-star rating and review. It helps make sure that more people check out the show. You know, we just got all of the Spotify Wrapped and all that stuff, and saw I think it was like 9 people have us as their number one favorite podcast, which that's it's great. You know, it's 9 people, but it's great. And then there was like 60 or something that were in their top 10, and whole bunch of listeners all over the world. Though it's great just to see the show growing and to see all kinds of new listeners out there. So if you rate and review, it does help make sure that more people check it out, and of course share it. Also, if you think of any puzzle pieces for this movie, Nightbitch, that we didn't bring up, or for any of the episodes we've done recently, send them in. I will read them on the next trailer episode. And plus, I just love hearing from listeners. So do get in touch. You can do that on social media at Piecing Pod. You could also join our Facebook group, Popcorn and Puzzle Pieces, where we continue the conversation about all the movies we talk about here on the show. And I've got a contact form, of course, on our website, piecingpod.com. Let's see what else is going on. We do have a Patreon, the Produced by David Rosen Patreon, where I post bonus and advanced content from Piecing It Together, from Awesome Movie Year, which is another movie podcast that I produce, and from my music career. I'm currently finishing up a whole bunch. I told you at the top of the show, the Pup Pups is out today. Don't forget about that listening party tonight. Also, don't forget, on the same day, December 6th, that this went up, I also have an album commentary track of that new Pup Pups album, A Boy and His Dog and Three Cats and a Bear. It's a special bonus episode that also went up this morning, so you could check that out too. But aside from the Pup Pups and all my silliness, I also make extremely dark, very heavy, serious music under my name, David Rosen, and I'm currently working on finishing up 2 new releases for 2025. You'll be able to hear a whole bunch of previews very soon on the Patreon as I'm finishing this stuff up, as well as bonus stuff for piecing it together, awesome movie, or all kinds of great stuff. So check it out. It's patreon.com/bydavidrosen. And I think that does it for today. I got to close this out with a piece of music. And I am going to go with a track, of course, from today's new release, The Pup Pups, A Boy and His Dog and Three Cats and a Bear, available on vinyl, on Bandcamp. And let's see, which track should I go with to close this out here? You know what? I'm going to actually go with the song that closes out the album. This is an absolutely ridiculous song called Let You Out. This song, I hope, will be something that any pet owner relates to when you have a dog who just constantly wants to go out and then wants to come back in and wants to go back out, wants to come back in and go back out and come back in. And yeah, that's what this song is about. And this closes out the new album, A Boy and His Dog and Three Cats and a Bear, which you can now check out in full on all the streaming services and our listening party tonight at 7 p.m. So I hope you enjoy Let You Out, and we'll be back with more piecing it together real soon.
I let you out, I let you in, 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 again I let you out, I let you in, I let you out, then back in. I let you out, I let you in, I let you out, I let you in, I let you out, I let you in, I let you out, again and again. I let you out, I let you in, I let you out, I let you in, I let you out, I let you in, I let you out, and then I let you in again. I let you out, I let you in, I let you out, I let you in, I let you out, I let you in, and now you want to go out again. I let you out, I let you in, I let you out, I let you in, I let you out, I let you in, and now you want to go out again. So I let you out and let you in, I let you out, I let you in, I let you out again and again. But when you're done, you better come back in. I let you out, I let you in, I let you out, I let you in, I let you out, I let you in, I let you out, now get your butt back in.
An All Points West production, produced by David Rosen in Las Vegas.